Now I'm finished threading my elastic through. As you can see, it comes right through the hole we just opened. I hope you can see that. Can you see that? There you go. And I've pinned them both together with one of the safety pins. This is the point that you're going to want to actually put your pants back on. And what we're going to want to do, so I'm thinking and trying to talk at the same time. I'm not always successful at that. You're going to take your elastic, pull it tight, adjust it around your waist. You don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose either. And then when we get it where we want it, we've got another safety pin. That was the other one we used. We can just put a quick pin right in there where we want it to be. And once we've done that, we want our elastic to overlap so that we can sew it together. Now mine was a bit big because I cut too much. I don't know how that happened because I swear I did it right the first time. So I'm going to gather it up, make it a bit tighter. I can see where my pants, the waistband, you can see it gathering. And as big as they were, they need to be gathered up quite a bit more than they were. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut my elastic. And here we have an overlap of about 1 inch. Now you can use a straight pin to hold it on, or just use one of our safety pins. And I'm going to use a safety pin because, excuse me, as I'm sewing, I don't want to bump into my straight pin and stick myself. That's not comfortable. So just to start off with, until I get a few stitches in, I'm going to use my safety pin. There we go. Just like that. I'm always backwards here with the camera. My other videos I was using a digital camera. There we go. I got my overlap pinned. But now I have a new webcam working with new technology. So, with our sewing needle, I've threaded on about 2 feet of thread. Now this is doubled over. I don't know if you can see from the top here. I've doubled it over. Now to tie it off at the bottom, it's very simple. Take your thread like this. You're going to wet your finger, just like that. Wrap your thread around your finger and roll it. Where's my finger? There it is. Roll it off the end. Then we're going to take it with our fingernail and pull it. At the end, you've got a nice little knot. Now we're going to take our needle. As you can see, I've got my pin holding my elastic in the overlap. I'm going to start right where my safety pin is. We're going to pull our thread through. You don't have to use quite this much thread if you're not comfortable with it. And I'm just going to do a straight stitch. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is on the inside. We're not doing embroidery work here. So, let's see if I can't get you to see it and me to see it at the same time. Here we are. Now, I'm not a whiz with hand sewing, and I apologize for my hand being in the way. I prefer to use a sewing machine for this sort of work. You can stitch this in any fashion you like. And don't be afraid of knots, they're going to happen. There we are. There we go. Now, here's my version of hand stitching, which as you can see I'm not very good at. But if yours looks like mine, or if it looks worse, don't worry about it. This is the quick fix, and since we're not using a machine, hand stitching is kind of difficult to do. Some people are very good at it. Now, if I were doing this for you or for someone else, I would be using a machine, and the inside would most definitely look as good as the outside. So, to end it off, I'm pulling my thread through, and we're going to do what's called a half hitch knot. We're going to, how do I explain this? Our thread's through the top, we're going to put it through the bottom again, this is just a couple last anchor stitches because I'm always paranoid about my threads. Here we go. Take our thread, put it through the top layer here, or even through another stitch, that's fine also. Where is my stitch? I'm doing this upside down, so I'm not sure what I'm looking at. There we go. And as we see our loop closing up, we want to catch our loop with our thread and pull it tight. That's a half hitch knot. So we're going to do a couple more of those. Put it through, catch the loop, pull it tight. Let's do one more for a good measure. There we are. Now we just snip our thread and we pull our waistband so that it disappears inside. Now we're left with a hole. What do we do with our hole? We're going to slip stitch it shut. Now you don't have to because this is on the inside. No one's really going to see it, but that would drive me crazy because there's a hole. So we're going to fix the hole. Now moisten your finger again with the same thread. I've got enough thread on here. Wrap the thread around our finger. Roll it off. Take it with your fingernail. Pull it tight. And I apologize for my lack of a manicure. I actually broke a nail tonight. Wasn't too happy about that. Now as you can see, there's a fold. Where is my fold and where is the camera? We're going to go underneath and stitch this up almost as though we were doing surgery. So right along, my tag is in the way. Extra threads are something we don't need. And we're just going to snip these off with my little seam ripper. There we go. I'm going to slide my needle underneath here, underneath the little seam to get to where that fold is. And that will hide the knot, right underneath there. I'm going to take my needle and just push the material back under so that it forms the same fold. There we go. Now right along the seam line here, we're going to slide the needle in, and you'll see the two edges will come together. Across to the other side, down the fold just a little ways. See how that comes together and you can't even see it. A blind stitch or a slip stitch because you're slipping your needle right down along the seam line. And we're just going to end this off with the same system of half hitch knots. So our end result is a pair of pants that we can wear one more time and get a lot more use out of, because you know I'll wear these a lot more than one more time. They're one of my favorite pairs of pants. So in a pinch, even though we didn't have the right kind of elastic and I'm not using a sewing machine, I wanted to show you what we could do and that you can make do with what you have. So I hope I taught you something, and I hope you could see everything I was doing. Working with a new setup, it's a little hard to get all the kinks out of the system. So I hope you come back and see what else we're going to have. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to come up with next. I might do another sewing project, or I might do another beading project. I just haven't decided yet. I have so many ideas. So thanks for joining me here, and I hope you'll come back soon. Keep crafting, everybody.